dividing them. So you have your f in the numerator and your g is your denominator. So if you notice, when you take the derivative, it's a very similar notation as to the product rule, except so if we ignore the bottom, what do you notice about the numerator? It's the product rule, but there's a subtraction. So you do exactly that. You take the derivative of the top, multiply it by the g bottom, minus the derivative of the bottom times the top. Then you divide that whole thing by g squared. So you go through the same process. Identify what's your f, what's your g, find your f prime, find your g prime, and substitute into this equation. Alright, so if we're going to try this one, let's identify what is our f of x and our g of x. Where does our f of x come from? The top, yeah, numerator, so that is? Perfect, so then our g of x? Perfect. What is our f prime? And our g prime? Everyone okay so far? So now we have to try and find our h prime of x. So what comes first with the h prime of x? F prime, which is 6. We multiply it by our g, which is x cubed plus 4. Subtract our g prime, which is 3x squared, times, which one? The 6x minus 5, our original f. And then we divide it by your g squared. Yep, just the g of x. So x cubed plus 4 squared. And now you will be expected to simplify. I'm really only worried about simplifying the numerator because sometimes you might have a denominator where this right here is like to the power 4. I wouldn't expect you to expand that and simplify that. So in general, leave your denominator as is and then expand your numerator. Although if you expand your denominator, it's still right. It's just more work. So we have 6x cubed plus 24 minus 18, 18x cubed plus 15x squared all over x cubed plus 4 squared. So after simplifying, that's what you should have. If you notice, we were asked to solve it using more than one strategy. So we just did this using the quotient rule. So this is quotient. We have to try and figure out another way that we could do this, not using the quotient though. So this is right. So now let's do it with the product rule. So you might end up seeing something like that, where you have a question that says, not just to do a quotient, but to do it in more than one way. So we have our h of x equals 6x minus 5 and x cubed plus 4 to the negative 1. We're going to do the product rule. Let's identify what is our f, what is our g. So what's our f? Good. And what else are we multiplying it by? Perfect. So now that we have our f and our g, let's find our f prime. What's that? And our g prime. So the shortcut. The outside function is to the negative 1. So we multiply the negative 1 down. So we have negative 1, bracket, keep the inside, subtract 1 from the exponent, and then multiply by your g term, your inside term. So then it's negative 3x squared, x cubed plus 4. Let's keep going then. We have our h prime of x. We need what first? Yep, f prime, so 6. Perfect. Plus? Good. Times what? Times our f. Okay, so let's bring those down. So for the first term, we have 6 staying in the numerator over x cubed plus 4 to the positive 1. And then we have, we'll expand this and this because they don't have exponents. They're just exponents of 1, so they can distribute together. So we have then minus 18 x cubed plus 15 x squared. And now this is coming down here, x cubed plus 4 for negative 2. Perfect. So if we're going to make a common denominator then, what do we have to multiply? We need one more of these. So we're going to multiply by x cubed plus 4 and x cubed plus 4.